Welcome back, guys, or if you're new here, this is Automotive Anonymous, and that's a 220,000 mile 2009 Toyota Tacoma. Of course, it has the 4-liter 1GR engine, it has a 5-speed automatic, and it has 4-wheel drive, so it's a pretty good platform. And I want to show you guys exactly how this 15-year-old Toyota Tacoma has held up and why it's still valued at around $16,000 or $17,000. If you're interested in this one, I'll link it below. Twin full Chevy right there. Otherwise, let's go around, check it out, see how the materials have held up, what the engine looks like, the interior, all of those things, even underneath the cab, to show you if it's rusted out or if in fact maybe this one's been well maintained and it's in really good shape. Potentially a great daily driver, potentially a nice platform to build on to make it into an off-road trophy truck or whatever you want to do. And in fact, I have a 10-second video out where if you guys give that 10-second video 1 million likes, I'll buy this one or one very much like it to do a crazy off-road build, to take it off-roading and to show you exactly, what fun adventures can come of it. Otherwise, let's go around and start at the front. And before we get going too much further, if you are new to my channel, I do want to mention that new cars usually get legit reviews. Used cars such as this usually just get impromptu, fun, walk-around driving impression views. Kind of low effort, not a lot of objectiveness and stats and specs, but it's just kind of a fun video to show you how things have held up and what my experience is of the vehicle after having driven a few hundred other vehicles. So this is the 4-liter engine, similar to what my FJ Cruiser had before its supercharger got put on. It's a 5-speed. What's nice about these earlier 1GR engines is the oil filter was right up top. After the redesign and where it gained about 30 horsepower, that did go lower underneath, so a little bit more of a hassle. But honestly, this engine bay looks really clean. You have the valve cover, the head. It is a pretty big V6, and with the lighting we have today, it is kind of hard to see what's down there. But the factory intake through the fender well, the baffling to quiet it down, and then underneath the engine cover. All of your fluids and reservoirs are easy to get to. And honestly, there's quite a bit of room to work on underneath. Your O2 sensors right there. You can really identify a lot of things because it's very mechanical. This is a vehicle that a lot of people could personally work on, but let's drop the hood. I personally really like the front end of these trucks, although the 2012 refresh front end grille and headlights really did it some good justice as kind of the mid-generation refresh, because these were sold between 2005 and 2015. So there were 11 model years of this second generation Tacoma. But overall, the headlights are pretty clear. You can see that the daytime running lights, they're kind of yellowed out. Fog lights, yeah, they're pretty hazy. And then there's a little bit of patina, a little bit of, from scratches and rocks and things chipping away at that Toyota paint. But after 15 years and 220,000 miles, can you really complain? Can you really blame it? No. The rest of this vehicle looks really good. Even the roof looks really good and doesn't show a lot of rocks that have popped up, maybe a couple little nicks here and there. And it's a new windshield, so that's pretty cool too. But overall, the side profile of this looks fantastic, and it looks as good as any of the 05 to 15s, even those with much fewer miles. Factory wheels, I don't really see any curb rash. The bumper, this is back when they had chrome. And this even has the rear view camera that's in the rear view camera that's in the rear view mirror, which is actually decent enough quality. Tow package, your plugins, 4x4 mats, and some Discovery tires, all terrain. Not a ton of tread left, but the wheels really look good. And drum brakes on the rear, are you surprised? Only the 2024 Tacomas have finally moved past that. But if we get into the interior, where the driver has obviously spent all of those almost 250,000 miles, it's actually held up really well. Even the cloth doesn't look that stained. It's still pretty soft. It is a little matted down, but you could probably revise that, refresh that with some shampoo, conditioner for interiors, and a brush. Couple cup holders, nice beefy handle, a named speaker. Speakers actually sound okay because there's not a ton of space and volume and air in the interior of the cabin, so it actually does okay because you're fairly close to the speakers. But look, that's probably the factory seat because that's the factory style. You can see that there's yellow from the patina on the sun visor, the factory kind of tinting up there that you'd have. But otherwise, even underneath the rugs, it's easier to show you from over here, they look basically brand new. This does have the old school kick brake. You have a little bit of a storage cubby, your tire pressure system to reset, your hood release, your options right there. And you even have a little bit of a storage tray right here, as well as a bigger tray right there, some more cup holders. You can smoke in this one if you want. Aux, 12 volt, and then physical buttons for HVAC, CD player, And again, the backup camera pops up there on the top left corner. Otherwise, the gear select, you can all go down all the way to 3rd gear. Side opening center console of decent size. And overall, it looks pretty darn good in here. If you're gonna ride behind the driver's seat, let's see how we fit and what it looks like. Actually, a little bit bigger snack pocket down here. Not only the 2 bottles, but also the snacks. It still has held up pretty well. Sounds kind of hollow in there, but look at that. The seats, they honestly don't look like they've really been sat in very much. You have some of the tire changing tools down there. A little bit of extra storage back here. Honestly, it's not too bad. I'm 5'11". Let's see how I fit behind my driver position. If I can get back here. I have that much room in front of my knees. And my hair, my spiky hair, if I lean back, is touching the roof. If I lean forward slightly with my head, it does okay. Couple cup holders, no armrests, nothing else back here. But honestly, it's pretty cozy. And if I close the door, everything works. All the windows, all the controls, I've already tested that off camera. It's pretty cool how well these have held up. I've driven a lot of cars with way fewer miles that have not held up nearly as well. This also is from the era of having a physical window. So no power controls there. One fewer thing to fail, but you do have to remember to close that on your own. So you have to have at least the range of motion like this to reach for it. Otherwise, I'm really digging this SR5 with the V6, kind of the Euro style taillights that some of those had. Other second gens came with the red taillights, which is what my regular cab 2013 had. But overall, this is a really cool truck. So let me hop in it. I'll get to my private road. I'll show you how fast it is 0 to 60, and then I'll share some more driving impressions. 0 to 60 density altitudes, 3,300 feet. So this one is down on power about 10%. I have traction off. I'm gonna brake rev it. Try not to do a burnout. Oh, there's a burnout. All right, let's try that again. Just going off of idle, how about that? Still some little spin. It's a pretty healthy girl. True 0 to 60 came in at 8.44 without a revved launch, just in 2 high. That's honestly not that bad. All right, let's check out 4-wheel drive. We're in drive right now. I'm gonna go up to 4 high. It engages. No wheel spin. Yeah, not too bad on gravel. Now we're gonna go to neutral so that we can push down and go over for 4 low. 4 low is engaged. We're gonna go back to drive. Oh yeah, lots of rev, lots of climbing ability. Too bad this doesn't have a rear diff lock, because otherwise, I think it would be ready to climb up some stuff. Otherwise, we're back into 4 high. Gonna go back down to drive, and now back to 2-wheel drive, and let's get out of the gravel. And you know what? Traction control off. Let's see how sharp we can turn this. Oh yeah. Pretty fun in the Tacoma. 200,000 miles, and yet it drives really well. And the 1GR 4-liter really sounds good when you rev it out. Factory intake, nothing modified on this one, but at 220,000 miles, everything works as it should. It's kind of a big old school Toyota wheel. I definitely don't like this as much as the newer style, but at least you have the truck 6 o'clock handle. Something you're losing on a lot of trucks is the old crap bar up here. So I'm reminiscing about this one, and I'm glad that it has a lot of these old school features. You even have a cigarette lighter, which, if you haven't already seen my videos on the 4 things that will destroy your vehicle's value, smoking cigarettes in your car makes the top of the list. But otherwise, visibility is really good. The side mirrors are huge. The windows are decent because the cabin is so small. You can see right down the middle, and then the 5-foot bed back there. Basically, you know exactly where the truck stops if it's overall square or rectangular dimensions. But look how tight the interior of this cab is. You'd have to have some little legs if you were my backpack with some legs, and that's what the seat moved pretty far forward. So it's definitely a mid-sized truck from the mid-2000s era, which was probably the full-size truck size maybe 10 years earlier. But it feels good. The horn sounds great, and I'm just having a blast. Just cruising at 55 down through the country, and it's only 1,500 RPM. So this little 4-liter, actually a pretty big V6 by today's standards, even though it's not the biggest V6 that you used to be able to get in a vehicle like this. For instance, Chevy for so many years had the 4.3-liter, and in fact, they still sell that in a lot of their Chevy Express vans. But anyways, this thing feels solid. And around 9 inches of ground clearance, all-terrain tires on this one. and it feels like you could do whatever you want, just throw things in the bed. Heck, you have a 1,200-pound payload, which is better than a lot of the modern trucks. Heck, even the 2024 Chevy Silverado ZR2 Bison Edition that I've driven and have a review of, that thing has less than an 1,100-pound payload. And it's a big off-road heavy-duty truck for being a 1500. Yet this little mid-sized Tacoma that can only tow, you know, around 5,000 pounds, it can actually carry more than a big Silverado in some cases. But it gets right up to speed again at half pedal. And the 5-speed transmission in this, even at all the mileage that it has, really feels quite solid. This truck has gone around the earth worth of mileage quite a few times, and yet everything has held up well. There aren't any squeaks or cracks or creaking noises because it doesn't have a sunroof. I think that helps a lot, because as much as I personally love sunroofs, sometimes they add a lot of extra unnecessary noise through the flexing and the lack of structural stability that you get on the roof. I don't have a decibel reader with me today, but there definitely is a little bit of interior noise from the highway speeds, the mileage. I'm sure the coefficient of drag of this Tacoma is not fantastic, but what do you expect? It's a 4-liter mid-sized truck with a bold front face. This was before the refresh front end in 2012, and when I had my 2013, not 2013, that's quite a ways away from now. That was really fun having the refresh front end, but honestly, this one with all of its patina, it still looks really nice, and I'm digging it. I'm digging how well it's aged. Just stack some hay bales in the back and get to work in your Tacoma. Honestly, guys, after getting to drive this one for a while, I personally really like it. I really feel like it feels like a solid truck. So if you want to buy it, you know, I'm going to link it in the description below. It's about $16,000 or $17,000, but it feels totally solid. It sounds healthy, and it runs really well. Honestly, after probably even having it idle for about a half an hour, it feels, it sounds, there's no ticks, there's no squeaks, there's no belt squeaks, like everything, it just feels up to date on maintenance. I don't have any concerns in recommending this for you. But if you guys want to see me buy this and do a crazy off-road build and have some fun with it, I have a 10-second video. All you have to do is give it a like, and if it gets 1 million likes, I'll buy a Tacoma and we'll build something fun together so that I can share the experience with you. Just like that little hawk that took off flying, it wants to watch something, so I'd like to think that its talon would give it a little bit of a like if it could. Anyways, guys, I hope this video was informative or helpful, or at least fun for you, because it was a lot of fun for me. I enjoyed Toyota trucks. I miss both of the Tacomas I used to have, and I miss my 4-liter FJ Cruiser. They're always fun to drive, they're always fun to get into, and honestly, after driving so many new things, to get back into an old school 4-liter 5-speed automatic vehicle like this, which is actually still the same powertrain as the current Gen 400 you could buy brand new, I like it. It feels solid, and holy cow, is there any surprise why people pay way over sticker, or way over what you'd expect these to be? As much as I don't like vehicles to not really lose value when they're used, I understand why the Tacomas hold on to their value so well, because this is a phenomenal truck, and it has a reputation that, you know, really shows the Toyota reliability. This, in a lot of ways, is the pinnacle of what Toyota trucks are supposed to be. But anyways, guys, like this video, comment your thoughts and opinions below, subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope you take care until the next one. See ya.